We got some big news for Microsoft stock investors as the company announced another round of layoffs. And this is investors starting to see the benefits of the company's investments in AI as it's able to do more with fewer people. So I'm going to talk about the details of that development and update my recommendation for Microsoft stock and let you know what I think about the company. Is it a buy, hold, or a sell? Let's take a look.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so Microsoft said it's cutting about 4% of its workforce. The reductions, first reported by the Seattle Times, would amount to about 9,120 jobs. Microsoft had about 228,000 full time employees as of June of 2024. Remember, Microsoft is scheduled to spend about $80 billion in 2025 to build these data centers optimized for AI. And that's up from around $50 billion they spent in 2024. And I wouldn't be surprised if in 2026 this number jumps up to $100 billion. Companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta Platforms, and others have increased their investments in artificial intelligence as they see the early results paying dividends. The returns on the investment they're noticing already far exceeds their capital spending. So these companies are spending almost as much as they can to develop and build these data centers optimized for AI. In fact, all of these companies in their reports to investors have told investors that if they could, they would spend even more on this category because the benefits are so large and they exceed the investment by so much. The constraint is several, right? One of the constraints is these companies' uh, power. They can't find power to support these AI data centers. These data centers optimized for AI consume a great deal of power as consumers and people who are searching for and asking questions to these large language models, that computation or the results of those questions takes a lot more computing power than if you were to just do a regular search query on Google search or Microsoft Bing. And so the demand for energy is soaring, and some of these data centers would be built even quicker if there was the energy to support that development. So Microsoft again announcing these job cuts, and one of the things that Microsoft is benefiting from, not only are they able to enhance their services that they offer to businesses, right? Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. is enhanced with artificial intelligence. And so the company can charge a higher monthly premium for these services, as well as offering computing power, right? Microsoft benefits from selling the computing power to OpenAI, which is the home of ChatGPT. So when you're asking a question to ChatGPT and ChatGPT behind the scenes is running the computation for that, most of that power or most of that service, that revenue is going to Microsoft. So Microsoft is building out its ability to offer that cloud computing power to companies like OpenAI and others. Microsoft's backlog or remaining performance obligations are roughly $300 billion. And so it has strong demand for these services. But on top of that, Microsoft is using AI for its own business and capitalizing on that development. And so Microsoft, with these job cuts, is going to be able to do more with fewer people because of AI. We've seen how several categories of its business benefit from the increase in effectiveness of artificial intelligence. And already Microsoft is one of those businesses that has kept costs under significant control. I oftentimes have talked about how Microsoft has basically no customer service, right? They have no people. If you want a answer to a question, at least when I looked about a year or two ago, for any support or answers to my questions, I couldn't find anything. And I searched several categories. looked for several ways to connect with Microsoft, and my questions were specifically surrounding Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word and Excel, and PowerPoint. And I switched. I formerly used Microsoft Suite, and I switched. As you can see, I'm using Google Sheets here for my Microsoft discounted cash flow valuation model. I would have still been a customer of Microsoft had they been able to answer some of the questions I had about their services, but I couldn't find any, right? And so this goes along the way of Microsoft trying to serve customers at the lowest cost possible. And because they have such a large competitive advantage, especially in Windows, the operating system, they don't feel the need to offer great customer support. They feel like they have a great customer retention because of the product itself and how it dominates the market. They don't feel the need to offer great support. So my proprietary discounted cash flow valuation model from Microsoft has the company's intrinsic value worth $434 a share. The current market price is $491 per share. So the market price has increased. I've had this stock rated as a buy for a long time now, so I'm happy about its performance. It's trading close to its 52-week high of $500. So it's trading at a premium valuation, but I think Microsoft deserves a premium valuation. Also, when I go to fiscal.ai to retrieve the company's forward price to earnings ratio, it's trading at a forward PE of 34, which I would consider as being fairly valued or even undervalued for this business. So, comprehensively looking at Microsoft's valuation, I would say it's fairly valued and it's an absolutely excellent business. It belongs in the Hall of Fame of businesses in terms of growth and profitability and competitive advantages. So, anytime I see a great business like this selling at a fair valuation, I recommend it as a buy, as I've done with Microsoft for several years now. So I'm happy to see the stock performing well, and I still think there's upside here for Microsoft stock. So to update my recommendation for Microsoft stock, do I think it's a buy, hold, or a sell? I updated the recommendation and I reiterated my buy rating for Microsoft stock on uh, here July 2nd, 2025. Interestingly, I had Microsoft's stock price target at between $460 and $500 a share by the end of 2025. And I made that stock price prediction on November 22nd, 2024. And already it looks like Microsoft stock is hitting the higher end of my price target for 2025. If I were to revise this price target, I would be revising this price target higher for Microsoft stock given what I've seen from the market here so far in 2025. Hey everyone, I'm excited to announce that my book is finally available for sale. I've been working on it for more than a year now, so I'm really excited to finally share this with you now. It goes through my framework for evaluating stocks. Some of you often ask why I like this stock or why I like the other stock, and this framework provides you the things that I look at when I'm evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.